Hey guys, welcome to episode 11. I can't believe it's finally here. The big 1-1. This is the weekly podcast, the end of everything, where we actually do everything, something different every week, don't we? So there's actually no trend. I can't actually put it down to things. But however, this week we are talking to Rob Chesney, the famous Rob Chesney from Further Fabrication.
Ooh.
You might have seen him. That's a little plug there.
Thank you.
We're just going to talk to Rob, see about his journey from university onwards, really, see where it's going.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, learn how to make a successful brand. We need it.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you.
I'm honoured by the big 1-1. That's truly something special.
Yeah, it's a big.
I mean,
it's a big number.
We've been wanting to get you onto this too, but we thought we'd
just wait till the big 1-1 and then we'll get them. It'll be worth it. So maybe just start at a little bit about myself and where I came from.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't just come out of the
come to the ground like a dwarf. There's a
Saruman.
I graduated industrial design in end of 2013, and that was at Victoria University, which was the 3-year course, not the 4-year Massey course. Maybe saved a year there, depending on who you talk to.
A year behind
that whole Massey argument going on.
45 minutes of that.
And then got to work at a workshop. Straight on from that, had a contact at the university who kind of got me into there, and it's where I met you two.
Oh, it's joyous, isn't it?
People.
No, because we all started pretty much on the same day, or you're slightly before.
I think you guys were a little bit.
I think it was like within a week, maybe, or a few days or something. And it was kind of this cool thing.
Bright-eyed uni students.
Oh wow! Look at that! What's that on the wall? Oh, is that a sword? Whoa! Oh, don't touch it. It's plastic.
It's plastic. This is all fake.
It's actually quite funny though.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So
I know, eh?
Yeah. So basically, I worked there for maybe about 3 years.
Yeah, was it?
Doing just a little bit of everything. Did quite a bit of on-set work for Thunderbirds, which was very, very fun.
Yeah.
Like doing everything from kind of like the set building and stuff to the puppeteering of like natural disasters. Which is you think it sounds fun until you have to like unleash like 10 kilos of sodium bicarbonate like over the top of a set and just be like but you have to do it within like half a second of when like the director calls action, and if you don't do it right then you have to clean it all up after.
And then do it again.
So
I remember I think I left just as it was starting to be filmed, and the like Tracy Island like miniature in the water pool, like it just looks so cool.
That was epic.
That was dope.
No, that was something really cool. So worked in a bunch of different departments in Weta, and then kind of just kind of felt like it was time for a change after that many years there. It was, great in terms of like just going through and learning all these things off like all these literally like world-class artists and designers and things. It was like you couldn't ask for like a better start.
A bit training montage.
Exactly. So then I didn't really have a plan coming out from that. I was just like, you know what, like I'm young and it's a good time to try some. I mean, this sounds weird, but try some different business avenues. And so just like tried a bunch of shit. Tried a bunch of things.
No, you can totally swear. It's fine.
Right.
As long as you're not slagging off different people's races.
I'll try not to do that. But
try to hold it back.
just try different business avenues in terms of doing kind of client work and just kind of designing pieces one-off and doing kind of chemistry work and just all sorts of little things, and then kind of looking at like what I could do in terms of like maybe like more of a passive income or like get into products and just kind of like just exploring basically just kind of like teaching myself business ideas.
That's it, man. It's suddenly a thing like we're product designers, which is like seems like the opposite spectrum of like the business world.
You're like, I just make a product and everyone will buy it and you'll be sweet.
There's
a few more steps involved than just like look at this idea, it's great.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you sell it? How do you like make it viable? What sort of products did you make?
Yeah, so I kind of like made myself like 3D printers and laser cutters and things. So I had those accessible to me, and I was like, you know what, it makes sense to use CNC technology as the primary manufacturing process for a product. So I kind of like, I wanted to go in with the least amount of basically capital and investment into that, and so literally the first thing I started with was laser cut coasters.
Yeah.
Which, if you can think of the easiest thing that someone would maybe buy, that was that. And I was like, okay, sweet. Well, you know, like you got to start somewhere, because you got to like actually have a thing to start kind of like figuring out the selling platforms online and actually like trying to market stuff. And it was like, I knew it, like it's not something that I'm wanting to sell. It was just a vessel for learning these things. And then so that kind of so I did a few of them, and just like trying out basically different online platforms, so like Etsy and like Trade Me, and just like basically any place where you could, so anything that wasn't kind of my own site, but I was kind of putting into like a pool of other products and things like that. And then even to selling wholesale and things, and seeing how that worked in terms of kind of profit margins and scalability and all of that stuff. So that was like really insightful, like learning all of that stuff. And kind of developing, and then I went on to I did some like Nespresso holders, which if you think of those Nespresso capsules, and then just like a couple of variations on that, which was actually like fairly successful in terms of they were, you know, paying for themselves to be made, and it was making a small profit and things. But it was it was that whole thing where it was like, I mean, this is great, but is this
your higher calling?
Is this what I want to do? And that was the whole point of basically taking that time, is just trying those different things and figuring out if this is like, yes, I'm gonna like pursue this avenue, I'm gonna maybe go up here, and just a whole bunch of things. And like, you know, looking back on that time, you're like, oh man, like what did I actually accomplish through there in terms of like tangible results? But it was like, it wasn't quite like that. It was more like giving yourself another level, like tertiary education, essentially, that you were paying for yourself and just learning your way through it. So that was kind of the plan through there, and it's kind of, you know, led me to this point.
It's so hard to quantify that time though, isn't it? Because like, you know that you I guess you look at yourself a year and a half ago, and you're like, man, I was an idiot back then. Like I knew nothing.
That's right.
I mean, and you know, we're kind of at the point where we do it every 2 months now. It's just like, man, I knew nothing 2 months ago. Like, why were we doing that? You know, but it's so hard. There's nothing quantifiable in that time. But
that's right.
Exactly. You're learning so much,
and it's a hard thing, because you feel like you're kind of like mad at yourself for like wasting that time in hindsight. But at the time, it's like you literally didn't know how to do that thing, and you had to learn.
You could not be at this point without it.
Exactly. So that's the kind of thing.
It is like that, man.
I think as well, like something you said for like the, you know, he's talking about the coasters, like the minimal viable product. We talk about that quite a bit. It's like, I think a lot of people, you know, it's very easy to go in and say, like, set the bar really high, I'm going to make this amazing product, and I'm going to sell it, it's going to be amazing. But there's just so many unknown obstacles that are really hard, like figuring out how to sell stuff and market it and all these things that really you just want to, it's like, make it as easy as possible so you don't just get so far and give up, because that's what happens to a lot of people, you know, because it's really easy to do.
Oh, exactly. It's like, you go in being like, I'm going to design, you know, the next coolest headphones that have like X, Y, and Z attached to them, and they're going to look so sweet. And then you sink $10,000 into like tooling, and then you realize that you know nothing about marketing and selling yourself.
And no one wants these.
And you've done no research. You know, that's the sort of thing. So it's like, it's all about
little steps.
Finding the littlest, the smallest amount you can do without kind of like setting yourself too far back. But it's a tricky thing as well, because you do need to spend some level of money to.
There's got to be some investment there.
Yeah.
Money and time, eh? So and that's the big one as well. Is like to have the luxury to, you know, we have the luxury to not be working, and like you can put all that time into it, because it is so. But that's not a luxury that everyone can afford. But you know, I think it's a great thing to be able to do, especially when you're young, like you say. Just save some money and just like, this is the time to do it, because it's going to be harder the older I get to just be like, I'm going to spend a year trying to figure some shit out. But no, that's cool though.
But that's the interesting thing is that because we do have no responsibility, and like you and I have been talking about a little bit lately, because you have no responsibility it's actually really hard to get the fire underneath you sometimes. And
That's
it's
right,
and you might have like a bit of savings, or it's like, I'm reasonably comfortable now. I'm making, $20 a week, whatever, that's fine for noodles.
That's enough to,
exactly. I can sustain on this for at least 6 years. So
that's a lot of Indo.
yeah. So we were talking before about how you and I at least have each other kind of spur each other on, or spiral each other down in some cases.
Yeah.
But it can be really hard to. This is
keep yourself motivated.
Keep yourself motivated.
No, exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think the key to that is just to keep trying new things, because it's like if you keep pushing away at something that's really you're not interested in, but you think it might make you money, but if you're not interested in it, you're never going to find that motivation. Being financially free to try these things out is a double-edged sword, because you don't have that like, oh no, if I don't make like my mortgage repayments, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna have to do this. You're like, stuff might happen. So you've got to like, you really do need to kind of like let yourself just focus and be like, okay, like just get stuff done, and don't worry about all of the other things, or like the downside of things.
just put on your blinders and go for it. It is totally like that. And like goal setting is like the best thing for that, as we've kind of found. Is like, it turns out high school teachers and stuff we're onto something, and they're saying set some goals, to get this sort of stuff done by a certain point. Like, okay, that kind of works.
That's right. Yeah.
So I guess you're saying now with your YouTube channel, are you having goals for like setting videos?
You'd think so, but no, I it's weird because I don't really work on for someone who is semi-planned about how they live their life. I don't actually have those kind of like longer term, like say like month by month, or like 6 monthly or 3 yearly. I kind of just work in like small little pockets of time. It's like I can get super motivated to get something done by the end of the week and just like smash that out. But then it's like each little block in itself isn't actually building towards some sort of greater castle.
Right,
It's building, but I don't know where it's going.
So it's lots of little separate sandcastles all over this plane.
All over the place. And eventually, my plan is to step back and be like, oh, that's where it is. Right, that's
wow.
People say that.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly.
You hear that a lot, that like everything you learn will come in useful someday.
Yeah,
sure. I've learned a lot of useless stuff.
Yeah, like, I thought quicksand was going to be a bigger part of my life than it has been.
I know. Oh man.
Never encountered quicksand.
Yeah, like find that long stick and like, start shuffling yourself.
I was literally talking about this the other day. Like, quicksand was a big part of my childhood.
I was worried about that.
That was a real threat. Like jungle, there's trees, and probably quicksand.
How often I would be on fire.
Yeah.
Stop, and roll.
Yeah.
I mean,
I literally haven't been on fire since.
No, I mean, the chance of it happening is there, so
Yeah,
I appreciate
sure.
that, but,
I mean, more so with you. I mean, less so with our computers.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean,
true.
yeah.
Well, I don't know, you guys run some pretty hot renders.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it, plugging us like that. So how are you enjoying the YouTube channel at the moment?
Yeah, so I guess the current little sandcastle block that I'm building now is going down the kind of YouTube avenue of putting out content and making videos and things. And it suits me quite well in terms of my background and very eclectic background of kind of making things and 3D things and sound and audio and visual, all that kind of stuff.
It's very jack of all trades thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm enjoying it, so I'm just going to keep doing it for a little bit and kind of see what happens. Well, that's basically the goal, is just to see what happens.
Yeah.
So the idea with that is just kind of do that for maybe till Christmas, see how that pans out in terms of the response to it. It's something I've been doing for the last couple of years, just really inconsistently, like every few months I'll put out a video maybe, and in general, like, there's been a really positive response to that from the kind of YouTube community and things like that, and a lot of my videos have kind of over 100,000 views and things like that, so it's like, in terms of a proof of concept, you're like, all right, well, people like this. If I put out more content and things, people will like it.
I mean, a few 100,000 views is pretty validating.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Depends
it was
what
weeks. It's like,
Well, by the time people are watching this, it's probably thousands.
Yeah.
Trending.
But yeah, that was the thing. It was like the internet is a massive place, and YouTube is huge. I think it's the second biggest search engine. To Google. So it's only gonna grow as a platform. And if we talk kind of like business direction for a little bit, it's like all of those things that I was trying out in terms of like product development and doing client work and all those things are all very kind of like one-to-one interactions and results. Hang on, I do have a goal. It's more of a vague direction than a fixed goal. But I mean, so the goal is oh my. So my kind of like, goal.
It's alright.
You can say the word.
You've
lied to us.
Get out! I'm sorry.
Podcast.
Aim. You know what? It's not goal. It's an aim. It's
okay.
Aim.
That's better. That's so funny.
That's weird. I didn't notice I had to go.
You kept sweating there.
The aim is basically kind of like building passive income, but more than that, it's having freedom over your time and where you place your effort, essentially. So a perfect
scenario.
Perfect scenario of success would be you're not tied down to a location anywhere in the world. You can produce income regardless of whether you live in a big city or whether you live out in a farm or like whatever country you need to live in. It's like you're in control of what's going on, and in terms of kind of making products that was almost fit. And one of the big things I came up against was like shipping from New Zealand to overseas was just like exorbitant. Like it was most of like the product cost wasn't the shipping. So I was like, okay, well in that sense, like I'd probably need to be closer to my main market in North America and things like that. So it's not really like a truly functional model in that sense. But in terms of producing content for the internet, I mean, it sounds silly when you say it, but like in terms of producing content for the internet, that is a truly global thing and can be done anywhere. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, let's do that for a bit. And I think as well as that, it's something kind of more positive you can give to the community in terms of like actually sharing information and sharing skills and techniques and all that stuff that you can't. It has always felt a little wrong, just like producing more, say, products or whatever, because it's just like you're just putting that stuff out into the world when it doesn't really need to be there. And like in terms of sustainability and all that stuff, you're just like I'm the problem. I'm just producing more stuff for people to buy, so then they have to like work at their jobs longer and like all that stuff. It's like I'm perpetuating the cycle. Which kind of like deep down you're like, this isn't quite what I wanted in terms of like how I want design to be perceived and all of that stuff. It's like I would much rather share those skills that I have and like the outlook and all of that stuff with a wider audience that might not have had the same access to the experience and knowledge that I've had in terms of university and working at working in film and all of that, and getting a variety of skills in that. So that's kind of a really big motivator for me for doing the videos. That's the thing that can like makes the difference between getting up in the morning and making something that you're not proud of and actually being like, you know what, I'm going to try really hard on this and make it something valuable that people are going to see. Like, I get comments from people all over the world being like, hey, this is great, like, from all these different countries, and you're like, oh, that's cool, like I never could have reached you in any other way, and I'm glad you're getting something from it.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's like, that's the thing you get with producing content that I think is glossed over a little bit. People are like, oh, you're doing it for like frivolous reasons and whatever, you just like seeing your face on on the screen, but trust me, I hate seeing your face on the screen. And but I mean, it's
especially after editing for 2 days.
Dude.
The voice. God, I sound horrible.
I'm numb to the voice now, but the face still gets it. That'd have been a little bit of looking or something.
But why are you making an expression?
You just pause it at some point. You'd be like, you're like, oh.
Yeah, I was doing a webcam thing the other day, and like my face just kind of froze like this. Like,
And then you got to be like, you know what? People put up with me in real life, so I'll just have to let it fly.
Yeah. A lot of people see this every day, and they haven't screamed yet. So
Run screaming from the room.
I guess I was in because I'm so huge, like. I've had to sneak up behind people and then they like turn around and they I give them such a fright. So I was like eating sushi.
Walk out of the bathroom and there's someone else walking.
You're just staring at a chest.
Whoa! It was in the Japanese having sushi and accidentally snuck up behind the waitress basically. She turned around. It's like sorry.
I'm sorry.
Godzilla! Oh, that's terrible. No, it's not that bad, man. It's just because you're tall, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's the good thing about Japan, though. It's like, where's Ewan? And you just like look over there. Oh, there he is. Yeah. It's like a huge crowd of people.
Twice as tall as everyone.
Yeah.
Just very
Tokyo, and then there's me like above the cityscape.
Yeah, that's kind of where you want to go, isn't it? To be honest.
I would like to go to Japan.
Have you not? Oh, sorry. Have you not been? Oh, you were at a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah. Not in Japan.
Yeah. Well, trust me, when you're in Japan, you just if anyone loses you, they'll just be a bit like, oh, no, there he is.
Yeah. To be fair, like even in New Zealand, it's pretty easy to find me.
Yeah. You just wait.
Yeah.
Where did we get to? Sorry.
I don't know. YouTube channel, but what else? Design Junkies. Do you want to talk about that?
No, not really. Yeah, so that was something that was honestly just a bit of fun. Like my reason for doing that is I wanted to. This is not the reason I told the producers, but I just wanted to get better at like communicating.
Yeah.
And stuff, and so it's like I can't think of a better way than national television. Man, you're throwing in the deep end on that one.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. So it's like, well, again, something I learned in that kind of stint about business and selling yourself and stuff. It's like the difference between if you have two people of equal skill and talent and all of that. The difference between one being successful and one not is how well they communicate and how well they can get their ideas across.
That's it.
And it was like, well, I kind of suck at that, so I want to try to get better. So I'm gonna just.
But that's great, and it's totally out of your comfort zone, isn't it?
Exactly, and like that was the thing, and it was like, I know, like it's gonna be fun, like regardless, and hopefully I'll kind of like come out better for it.
Well, that's it. I mean, nothing. What's the saying? Nothing easy is rewarding, or whatever. So it's like you put yourself through those challenges, and it's really hard. It's awful for a start, but then like that, it's so much more rewarding than. Sitting at home for that length of time doing nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, like think of the story. It's like, I could have gone Design Junkies, but just didn't. Yeah. Like, okay, cool, end of story.
Cool story, man. I guess.
But it's like, and same with all the other contestants on there as well. I think they were kind of like big props to kind of like putting yourself out there and in such a format as well, because it's like they're definitely like it's television, so they're looking for the drama, they're looking for the things that are going wrong, the tension, all of that stuff. So you're in the worst possible scenario for a designer in terms of how you would normally get time to actually think about things.
Someone looking over your shoulder the whole time with a clock.
Imagine that. Imagine that. And it's like under that amount of pressure, and you're just like, if you can deal with that, then you can pretty much deal with everything.
Yeah, definitely.
For our viewers, Design Junkies was a national television show, a reality TV show. Do you want to give a base?
So basically it was kind of 6 contestants. They got given junk every week, hence the Junkies bit, not because we were drug addicts. And had to produce something to a brief within about 2 days, which was a bit less than that, but quite a bit less than that. So that was kind of thing, and it was a 6-part series.
Yep. I did very well.
Yeah.
No,
it's a bit hit and miss there for a while.
I think the whole show is pretty hit and miss.
But
You were definitely while we were watching it.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Oh, I
funny,
know. I hadn't watched any. I wouldn't have watched the other ones had I not known Craig and Kelly on the first season.
Yeah. So there's been 2 seasons and we've had 2 very good friends on it already. So obviously the design pool in New Zealand's lacking, obviously.
Yeah. It's a small world, like New Zealand.
Especially people who are available to shoot every weekend for like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Definitely. Totally group.
So so the object of your YouTube channel, Further Fabrication, check it out.
Yeah.
But so you're going into a lot of sort of manufacture and almost like digital manufacture, right?
Yeah.
Is that almost this kind of niche that you're establishing?
A little bit. It's more of, I think in a sentence to sum it up would be just like making interesting things and telling people exactly the processes and the thought processes and kind of it's almost like a tutorial in a way, but hopefully not quite as boring.
No, certainly not. But like, I guess you're narrating your thought process.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like, and it's kind of hard sometimes because you're like, I mean, I try not to be like, and then you screw the screwdriver 3 times to the
90
right.
degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees.
And
Pick up next.
pick up.
Examine.
It's like how much you don't know how much your audience like will just know, or you need to tell them.
That's right. So it's kind of like, and that's the thing. It's just finding the right level to kind of be pitching at. So it's like showing what you're doing, and also maybe explaining kind of at the high to medium level, kind of what's going on. And it's more about just like I like making interesting things. I get bored quite easily, so I kind of like jump around between doing things. So the idea is like if I can make something and share that with someone, and then they get knowledge from it and I get enjoyment from it, so it's kind of like a win-win situation.
Yeah. No,
I think
it's
as well it's great, like the idea with the 3D printer, the laser cutter to have all the files and everything online as well. Like, I think that's really great.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, there's a lot of effort to do that, but it just adds that extra level of value for the people who actually. Because there's obviously of all the how many people watch the video, not all of them are going to make. So you want to hit the market where it's quite satisfying to watch people do things and make things in particular. Then it's also great that for someone who actually does want to get out there and actually make something, it's also a really comprehensive, instruction course.
That's right. I don't want people to kind of the barrier to entry. I want to be very, very low in terms of people actually seeing that and being like, hey, you know what? Like that was actually not easier than I thought maybe, but like it's something I can approach step by step, and actually if I really want to, I can work through this. And I think that's the thing, like a lot of people just immediately shut off to the idea of maybe doing those things, and they're like, it's too hard. Where it's like, but if you break each piece down, and it's like, okay, well I know how to use a screwdriver and I know how to use a saw, then it's like everything beyond that is just kind of like building upon it. So I think that's really cool, and it's something that's maybe being lost a little bit in this kind of age.
But it's dispelling the magic of, isn't it? It's it's breaking it down to parts and make it comprehensible.
It's seeing behind the curtain a little bit, and that's something like I feel like I enjoy seeing. It's like I literally just want to understand how something works. So the more I can give other people that, then I kind of like feel justified in doing it.
Definitely.
But I think like you hadn't known it before. Like I think the control of that is just so tantalizing. It's such a like you're saying with your products and getting woken up at 11 a.m. or sorry, not sleeping on that late. I mean,
it's like you're watching a movie at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, and like someone's had a problem with the item being shipped, and then you have to deal with it. Like,
but you're still at the whim of your clients, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. You're always. I mean, that is the problem of being self-employed. You're always on. Like there's no weekend. Every day is work day. No matter like. I know you try and like break things up a little bit, but your mind's still going. If for me, like I find if there's something I can still be doing in terms of like progressing something forward, I'll always have half my mind on that. Even though someone's like, like stop, like let's
relax.
Let's go do something else for a bit. I'm always like I never quite enjoy it until I reach a certain point where I'm like, I got this done, but I'm waiting for parts, so I've got this little gap of time, and then I'll be like, okay, sweet, now I'll go do something.
Sure,
it's that sort of thing. And I think that's maybe some of the joy of being self-employed. It gets lost because of that, and I think it's something maybe people don't think about when they're like, oh man, it'd be really great, to get out of this 9-to-5 day job and go and do all that stuff. You kind
I
of
want to work 6 till 9.
you're like, I'm gonna and it's like no, you're gonna work more hours. It's gonna be harder. Motivation's gonna be harder. You're probably not gonna get paid for a whole bunch of time, and it's just like, okay, do you still really want to do it?
And also even just the people. You say how much you charge an hour as an individual, as a business person. It's another one. Like, people just don't understand the overheads that are incurred by running a business, even a very simple business. Never mind a workshop. It's just so expensive to all the tools and everything, and everything. The bills, you see how all the hours rack up, and actually how much you're taking home is very little. And
you appreciate very quickly how simple the life of an employee is, really. And it's and what the bosses of the past have actually been going through, probably
exactly.
That's rough.
So it's like, I would never say one is better than the other. It's just what kind of resonates with you.
And I think something you and I talked about with other people and together as well is you are so much busier. Like you say, you've always got something on your mind, whether it be some sort of marketing plan or some sort of project that needs finishing. But it does answer a little bit of that existential question of, what am I doing with my life? So I think while being employees and things like that, you're wondering I'm furthering someone else's goal. I've got a good life here, but what am I doing? So it might be harder, it might be longer hours and stuff like that, but it answers that kind of question.
That's right. And I feel privileged to be allowed to kind of do that in terms of going through my past and getting a uni degree and being able to work in there and being able to generate enough money so I can support myself for a little bit of time and learn these things. But you're right, sometimes you just have that, it's almost like a little weight in the back of your mind where you're sitting down working and you're like, I really want to go and do this and go and do that and things, and the totally valid answer is that you didn't enjoy those things and you actually prefer working as an employee. That's 100% valid.
Absolutely.
And there are days where I'm just like, that was much better. What am I even doing? But the point is being able to answer those questions and letting yourself go answer those questions. Kind of giving yourself permission to be like, you know what, just try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world.
That's it. So what's your next? Do you have a new video plan or?
So we're doing I say we, there's more than one person, but I'm the
organisation.
The organisation of me. So at the moment I'm doing a build series on a laser cutter, just kind of talking people through that, and just kind of letting people kind of see the process. So I'm going to complete that in the next, how long that'll take? A few weeks anyway. Good few weeks.
Set some goals. Love it.
And then we'll just move on to another project and just work through that.
Do you have anything in mind or too far ahead?
I'm not sure at this stage. There's a couple. I don't want to
spoil it. Quite right.
Robotic arm.
Dude, don't tempt me.
You'll do it.
This is part
56
1,000.
It's gained sentience. I no longer have control.
That'd be a great video.
Oh
well, it's been an absolute joy having you on, mate. It's so good.
It's been a pleasure. I feel like we jumped around a little bit, but
no, that's the whole idea of it. Great having you on. Check out Further Fabrication if you haven't already. It's a great channel. Give them a few more views. You'll love it.
20 new views.
Nice. That's right. We've got to start somewhere.
That's right. We've been starting for some time. Cool. Well, so that's us for us. We'll see who we have on next week. Don't know who it is at this stage, but we'll
Surprise.
See. Surprise.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
That's what you got to say.
I
don't want to spoil anything.
That's it. Learning from the master
next week.
Cool. Anyway, catch you later next week.